How do you monetize your expertise? Most people think the answer is simple. You can write a book, create a course, or start coaching. But if that were true, every author would be wealthy, every course creator would be thriving, and every expert would be making the income they desire. But they're not. The reality, not all expertise is valued the same in your industry. Some experts are struggling to make a living. Others are generating millions of dollars from what they know. So what's the difference? In this episode, I'm going to show you the 3 levels of expertise, how to identify which level you're currently in, and why some experts get paid dramatically more than others, even when they know the exact same information. You'll also learn how to move from one level to the next, how to increase the value of your expertise, and you'll learn the biggest mistakes that keep you invisible. Let's dive right in. So let's begin by talking about the 3 different levels of expertise and how you can monetize each level depending on where you're at, okay? So we'll talk about level 1, level 2, and level 3. Level 1 is knowledge, right? You know everything on your subject. You've studied it for years or however long it took you to really understand everything. You've done the research, you've had the conversations, you've had the debates, and so you have this knowledge. You're an academic, right? You really know a lot. People can ask you questions and you know it. Okay, so the best professions for knowledge are teachers. Oftentimes you could become a professor at a university or college. You can be hired as a researcher. Now, there is one that bugs me. If you're a level 1 expert, there are a lot of people that are authors. They write books. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't become an author, but I read a lot of books, or I listen. I love Audible. And there are so many books that I'm hoping for a level 2 or level 3 expert to help me, but all I get is knowledge, okay? All I get is that level 1 expertise. So you'll understand that a bit more, why that bugs me as I explain level 2 and 3. But there are plenty of authors that are very successful as a level 1 expert. Okay, so level 2 expertise, that's application. That means that you've gone out and applied all the knowledge and you've acted on it and you've reached success. Now that's not easy. You can't just have knowledge and assume you're going to be successful. The reason it's a whole different level is because as you start to apply it, you'll learn what works and what doesn't work. You're going to hit roadblocks and you're going to have to pivot and make adjustments. You're going to have to fail and pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and try again. You're going to have to keep looking for new solutions. So even though you have the knowledge, you're not free from these challenges. And somebody that can take their knowledge and then get out and apply it and overcome all of their challenges and achieve success, that is a level 2 expert. So how do you monetize a level 2 expertise? Like everything in level 1 applies, but in level 2, now you can be an entrepreneur. You're able to build your own business based on your expertise, right? And of course, authors that are a level 2 expert, their books are going to be even more valuable. But there's an additional form of monetization that actually bugs me at level 2, and that's a course creator. Now, you may be thinking, well, if somebody has not only had the knowledge, but they've applied it and succeeded, I want to hear from those people. I want to hear what they did. And there are tons of books and tons of courses from that perspective. And that would certainly be a much more valuable course than coming from just a level 1 expert. A level 1 expert should not be creating courses, but a level 2 expert, they've achieved success and they're going to share their own stories, their own experiences, how they achieved success themselves. So that will make a more valuable course. But let me explain what level 3 is and why I would much rather take a course from a level 3 expert, okay? So you've probably been trying to guess in your mind, what is level 3? Okay, a level 3 expert is someone who's taken their success and been able to apply it to others and help them succeed. So look at it this way. When you were level 2, you were at point A to begin with. You applied it and you got to point B. Point B is success, point A is where you started. There are a lot of other people that are at point A and want to get to point B. But the challenges that you faced and the challenges that they face, a lot of them are going to be different. They have their own unique personality, their own unique learning styles, their own work ethic, okay? So if you can take someone else by the hand and lead them from point A to point B and help them navigate their challenges and all their uniqueness, if you can help somebody else succeed, that makes you a level 3 expertise. That is hugely valuable. That's what people want. People want, in your case, to go from point A to point B. So level 2 is you just saying, well, I was able to do it. This is what I did. But level 3 is, yeah, I can help you. I can help you in your exact scenario. I can guarantee you can get to point B. Okay, so how do you monetize level 3 expertise? Well, that's thought leadership level. Okay, that's where you're a coach, or you can do group coaching, or you're a consultant. So not just a coach where you can help people find their own methodologies or their own answers, right? That's how a lot of people define coaching. I define coaching more as like business coaching or group coaching or a consultant, right? A consultant is a true level 3 expert. You don't want to be a consultant unless you're a level 3 expert for obvious reasons. There are a lot of speakers that are level 2 experts, but I would say it's going to be much more valuable if a speaker is a level 3 expert. Imagine speaking up on stage and having the ability to move the audience, not just inspire them, not just motivate them, but to lead them to action and to lead them to change or to lead them to success. Now, talking about creating a course, like if you have a course that can lead people to succeed, yeah, it's going to be much more valuable if you're a level 3 expert. Because if you're only a level 2 expert, some of the people that take your course are going to succeed, but some of the people, or many of the people that take that course, are going to fail because they're just going to follow in your exact footsteps. You haven't been able to create a path that will work for everybody, and you haven't created a way to actually lead them and help them through their unique challenges. So level 3 experts are amazing authors, right? They're amazing facilitators. This even works great for SaaS entrepreneurs because they've created a software solution that helps people get a result. So when you look at the 3 different levels of expertise, the most helpful, the most transformational, and the most revenue is found with a level 3 expert. Now, the reason that there's more money with a level 3 is because they're selling an outcome. They're not selling their time for money. A lot of level 2 experts, or even level 1, which there shouldn't be, a lot of level 2 experts will just trade their time for money. It's like, yeah, this is my hourly rate. If you want this much time, this is how much it charges. But level 3 experts can actually sell that outcome. They know how to help people get that transformation. So that transformation is what they're selling. They're not just selling the steps, or they're not just selling the time in the trenches, but they're so confident in helping people go from A to B that they can guarantee that outcome. And they have a lot of testimonials and case studies of people going from A to B, right? So they have a lot more credibility, and so people will hire them for that outcome, and that outcome is extremely valuable to them. The more closely that you are tied to that outcome, then the more valuable your expertise becomes. Okay, so now let's talk about something else that's really important that you might not have thought of before, and that's the difference between training and coaching or consulting, okay? And I'm going to use the word coaching here, but if you're really defining the words the way that a lot of people do, then maybe you should think of the word consulting when I say coaching, okay? Because I am talking about giving advice and sharing your expertise and telling people what to do. Okay, so the difference between training, I'll put training right here, and I'll put coaching right here. So training is you're relaying information. That's what you're mostly going to do in a course. I mean, you can do some things that lead more towards coaching and giving them assignments, giving them tasks, and especially if you hold them accountable for those things, that starts to pull courses over into the coaching or consulting side. So here's where the distinction matters a bit more. Okay, so I have a group coaching program, and when I'm on a group coaching call, people can ask questions. But if they ask a question and I'm just training them, they haven't watched my videos or they haven't read my book, they haven't gone through the courses, then I'm just training them. Now, especially, here's the difference. If they haven't started to act and implement the training, then anything that I do is still training. But coaching can be so much more valuable if somebody actually goes through the training in my program. They watch the videos and then they start acting on those instructions. Then when we're in a coaching situation and they tell me about their scenario, I can coach them in their unique scenario and point out things that they don't see. I'll be able to see things that they cannot see. You see, when they're taking training and they implement it, and then I can see the course that they're taking, I can see where there's a misunderstanding and I can coach them and help them course correct. I can give them a unique perspective and unique assignments that are going to be super valuable in that situation. But that only happens if they are acting, if they are implementing the training. So training is just giving that information and even telling them what to do. But until they start to do it, it can't be coaching. It can't be real valuable consulting. Now, the highest paid experts, the level 3 experts that are actually paid the highest, they don't sell information. They don't just sell training, but they provide real coaching and they help people get real results. They sell transformation and their clients experience that transformation. So how do you move from level 2 to level 3? The quickest way to do it is to give away your service for free. Cause a transformation in at least one person without charging them. Yeah, just give it away for free. But then you'll have a case study. You will have figured it out. You'll have experienced the difference between the path that you took to get there and the path that they took to get there. Now, maybe do that a few times. Give it away to 2 or 3 people for free so you can really become a true level 3 expert. Now, the next topic is pretty important. Why are there so many level 3 experts that are underpaid, that are struggling financially? Why is that? Well, it's not because of their expertise. It's not because they don't have the ability to help people. Helping people defines them as a level 3 expert. So why are they not succeeding financially? Or maybe they have an income, maybe a 6-figure income, but why are they not 7 figures? Why is there an income ceiling that they keep running into? It's because they're invisible, right? No one knows that they exist. They're only known by people in their small local bubble, the local geography, right? Within the social network that they have, they're only known there. But they're invisible to the rest of the world. And around the world, there are people that need their help. And I'll just change it to you. There are people around the world that need your help, but you're invisible to them. They go online, they go to Google, they go to YouTube, they go to ChatGPT, and they're trying to figure out their solutions. They're trying to find help, and they just don't know that you exist. If you truly want to succeed as a level 3 expert, then the next step for you is to develop your personal brand. There's actually 3 parts to personal branding. Every piece of that is critical. Most people only focus on the first part, which is your logo, your website, your headshot. So in the next episode, What is Personal Branding? I go deep into all 3 parts of personal branding so that you can truly build your career as a level 3 expert and become a thought leader. I'll see you there.